Why presence is vital for reality creation. Now, if you've clicked on this video, you're most likely somebody who wants better experiences in life. Maybe that's more success in your business. Maybe that's to have a high-paying job, better relationships, better health, whatever the case may be. And you may have already tried to achieve those things through grinding, hustling, or forcing to get them. Or you may be somebody who's trying to manifest and embody a new version of you. And when I say manifest, I'm not talking about these demons on TikTok and Reels saying that, oh, to prove you can manifest, go to the shower, turn on the shower, and see the water to prove you can manifest. That's not the BS that I'm talking about here. But you've been doing these things and you still haven't noticed any significant life-changing results in your reality. And if that's the case for you, I can guarantee you that the crucial mistake that you're making is that you are not living in the present. Your power lies only in the present moment. And when you're not present, when you're thinking about your thoughts or you're identified with your thoughts, you're thinking about the past, thinking about the future, then your power lies elsewhere. And what happens is you invite all these negative and limiting aspects of you to unconsciously create an undesired reality for you rather than the reality that you actually want. So presence is the foundation of reality creation. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how presence can help you break free from all of these negative limiting aspects that you may not even be aware of that are running your life. And we're going to achieve a level of awareness and inner stillness that is a prerequisite and is required for you to effortlessly create your desired reality rather than have these unconscious aspects in your old frequency constantly create this undesired reality for you, right? And notice I use the word effortlessly because we're not forcing. We're doing this through alignment. So we're doing this all with ease. Every single step along the way, we're not suffering, eat the frog, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., get up, do the work, right? We're doing every single step. We're going every single step of the way with ease. That's what we're doing here. And before we get into the rest of this video, if you're interested in learning more about this stuff and you want to learn how to create your desired reality, create a purpose-driven life through alignment, not force, then you can join my school community. The link is in the description if you want to join that. So let's get into it. So first, let's get into what you're getting wrong. You are using the present to create the past again. Now, what do I mean by this? When we talk about the present is the access point to endless possibilities. And what I mean by this is it is only in the present moment that you can be anything you want to be, you can do anything you want to do, and eventually have anything you want to have. But the issue is you allow your past identity and your past experiences to limit who you could embody in the present moment and therefore what you could do down to what your past self knows. And you create a reality that is congruent with that. Now, I came up with this analogy in the shower the other day, and I call it the blank canvas and painter analogy, right? When I was in the shower and I came up with it, I was like, I got to finish the shower and write this down real quick because it's really good. But the analogy is that you have a blank canvas and there's a painter holding a paintbrush. Now, the blank canvas is representative of the present moment, right? Completely blank, open to create anything you want. And the painter holding the paintbrush is you, and you have the power to create anything you want on this blank canvas. But the issue arises when you allow a past version of you who has already created his own paintings and artwork on their own blank canvases. You allow that past version of you to possess who you are in the present and control and move the paintbrush for you. And so what you end up creating is in the same style as your old self. It's not reflective of the reality that you actually desire. So you have to come to the understanding that what you're embodying, you're going to create a reality congruent with that. So when I say you are using the present to create the past again, you are left wondering, why don't I have my desired reality yet? I've been working so hard, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. You are getting exactly what you ordered. Even if we think about the law of correspondence, as they talk about in the Kabbalion, as within, so without, meaning whatever you hold within is what you will have without, right? And vice versa. If you are embodying your past self within, in the present moment, then what do you think you're going to have without in your physical reality? It is also going to be reflective of the past because that's what you hold within. So as I said, you are getting exactly what you ordered. So we're going to break this down even further so that you can understand the mechanics and the components that are at play here, and you can become aware of your own unconscious aspects that are running your life. Because once we can gain awareness of them, then we can begin to transform them. Or not even transform them, all we're going to do is break free from them in this video so that they no longer impact you or your reality. So the next point is, the greatest obstacle to truly experiencing this reality the way you desire is identification with the mind. Now, the reason that you suffer within is not because your external reality is chaotic. It's not because your mental activity is chaotic. It is not an issue of the volume of thoughts that you have per day or the quality of your thoughts. The issue arises because you unconsciously identify with your mind and give it all your attention. So much attention to the point that you have no energy left or attention left to redirect into the present moment. So you're never actually experiencing what is happening right now in the present. You're only ever experiencing your thoughts and opinions of it based on your past experiences and your worries of the future. Now, why is that? Well, when you identify with the mind, you are identifying with the ego, because the mind is part of your body, and your body is the ego that is your physical vessel that you use to experience physical reality, right? And the thing about the ego is that it's geared for survival. So it's always going to look to the negative, right? And it's programming to know what to avoid. And so it's always going to be focused on surviving. And when you're going to be so focused on surviving, then you have no energy left to actually thrive. So because the ego is geared for survival and you're identifying with your mind, which is also geared for survival, then you are only seeing the present moment through the lens of your past experiences and your worries of the future based on the past. So you have to come to the realization that you never actually see reality for what is and all the possibilities, the possibilities of what you could create in this present moment. You corrupt the present with your mind and its thoughts about the past and future, and you bring those into the present, tainting your experience of it. But what you have to come to realize is the past and future do not exist. I repeat, the past and future do not exist. It is only your perception of them from the present moment that does exist. So you have to come to realize that you have nothing but the present. And I know that can be a hard pill to swallow or quite difficult to comprehend, because when I speak to people about this, they're always confused. They're like, what do you mean? How can it not exist? You remember that thing that happened 5 minutes ago? Yeah, you remember it, right? Yeah, I remember it too. Let's see if that guy remembers it as well. And he goes, yeah, so it is real. But it's not actually real. It's not an absolute event that exists throughout time. It is only an interpretation of the event. That is it. Everyone experiences a certain event in time or that memory completely differently, from different angles, had different opinions of it, completely different, right? So when you think about the past, you're only actually ever visualizing or thinking about a memory of it from the present. And when you think about the future, you're only actually visualizing or thinking about an imagined version of it from the present. And those memories and worries always change based on who you feel you are in this present moment. That is why you can have memories from your childhood of your parents raising you, and let's say you're somebody who is now struggling in life, right? You don't believe your job pays you enough. You worry about not being able to make rent this month. You're just drowning in all this debt. You're like, oh, why is life happening to me? This sucks, right? This is terrible. Now, when you think about your memories of your parents raising you, you start looking back at them and you go, if they didn't raise me like this, then I wouldn't be like this. It's their fault. I hate these memories. I hate this. I hated my childhood. I hated all of that. But then let's say 10 years down the road, you Start running a successful business. You're living a purpose-driven life. You have the relationship that you want. You have the car you want. You have the house you want. You have good health. You have the physique you want. Now, when you look back at those memories, how do you perceive them? In the present now, you have everything you want. So when you look back at those same memories, you're thinking, oh, I'm so grateful for how my parents raised me. I'm so grateful for these events and these memories that shaped who I am today. So you have to understand, your perception of the past and future is always going to change, and your opinion of them based on who you feel you are in the present moment. And when we talk about the present, I actually posted about this in my school community the other week because I watched Kung Fu Panda on a Friday night. I don't know why, I just had the urge to watch it. But I heard one of the coldest quotes in that movie that is going to be one of those quotes that you just remember for the rest of your life. That's what it's going to be for me, right? And it's a perfect way to describe the present. But Master Oogway says to Po, "You are too concerned with what was and what will be. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is a gift. That's why it is called the present." Right? Now, I low-key just get chills thinking about that because it comes from a kid's movie, a movie I watched back in 2008. Right? If only I could have picked up on that esoteric knowledge then and carried it throughout high school and the rest of my life. Right? But that's not the way life goes. But yeah, highly recommend. Watch Kung Fu Panda, even Shifu, talking about inner peace, inner peace. That's what we're talking about right now. So when it comes to creating your desired reality, I'm going to be covered by the document. So when it comes to creating your desired reality, even though the past and the future are not technically real, the effect that they can have on you and your reality are very real. And it can be the difference between you creating your desired reality and living the rest of your life never achieving what it is that you truly wanted. So you have to become aware of this. So the next point is, by living through a mind that is concerned with the past and the future, you embody your old frequency or old identity in the present. Now, you've been unconscious of this up until this point, which is exactly why all this grinding, hustling, and forcing that you've been doing to improve your life is not really working. You may have seen some results in your reality. You may have seen some glimmers of hope, but you still feel exactly the same. Now, the reason that you are not evolving is because you keep allowing yourself to identify with the mind and its thoughts of the past and future to construct a false sense of self that you identify with. And this false sense of self is you using your mind's thoughts about the past and future to construct in the present this familiar you that you know of from the past, right? I hope that makes sense for you guys. But you're essentially searching for a familiar you in the present, and you're bringing that past version of you in the present because you know that to be you. You're like, oh, yeah, I went through that stuff. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, those are my problems. Yep, that's me, right? And you keep identifying with that same version of you in the present. That is why you feel exactly the same. Now, how this works is through your most valuable currency, your attention and energy, which go hand in hand. Because where attention goes, energy flows. Now, the thing you have to understand about energy is what gives momentum for something to exist within you and without, right? So energy is your currency to create your experience of reality. Now, the other thing you have to understand about energy is that your energy only exists in the present. So by unconsciously placing your attention on the past and future, you place your energy on the past and future. And then what happens is you give momentum for whatever you're thinking or visualizing to exist within you in the present. And when you create from that state in the present, what do you think you're going to create without? Right? So if you think about it, whenever you replay a failure or a mistake from your past, what happens in the present? You feel that same feeling of failure and doubt again now. And then when you try to create your desired reality or, You need to work on your business to build towards your desired reality. Your desired reality doesn't actually feel possible for you. So even when you try to force through on that task, when you try to create content or start that personal brand, everything feels forced. And you end up with a low quality creation that yields or doesn't yield the results that you want. Now, when you worry about the future, you think to yourself, well, what if I fail? What if I start that business and it fails? I spoke to a girl the other week who has a business and she wants to create content for it, but she said, oh, I just haven't started because I don't want to create content for it and then it flops and then people see the videos and they have things to say and they have opinions or whatever, think I'm a loser, whatever. And I'm like, who cares? We're all going to end up in the soil one day, right? But it's really interesting to see how your worries about the future can cause the same fear, uncertainty, anxiety, all in the present now when nothing has even happened, right? And so what happens to your ability to create? It becomes hindered in the present moment by all of the things that you're thinking about, the fears, the worries, the lack, the limitation. And so your creation is imbued with those things because those are the aspects that you had within while you were creating, right? And that's even if you started to create. Most people worry about the future and they don't even have the courage to start. They never start that business. They never start that personal brand. They never upload that video, right? And so they never evolve. They never move to that next level. You cannot think from an old version of you and expect to create a new version of you. It doesn't work that way. You are creating from an old frequency that is creating the same old reality. So if we go back to the blank canvas and the painter analogy, let's say you want more success in your business. Let's say you want a better job. You want better relationships. You want better health. You're allowing the past version of you to possess you in the present. And so this old frequency is moving the paintbrush for you and is creating in the style that only it knows, that past version of you knows. So it's going to create something resonant with what the past version of you knows to create, right? Which is not your desired reality. It's your undesired reality. So by embodying the old frequency, you're embodying a low frequency. And what that means is you're manifesting the reality you don't want, right? And so what happens is when you start to operate from this frequency, you receive intuition aligned with that frequency. You're compelled to do things in alignment with that frequency. And then when you're compelled to do things, you act in alignment with that frequency. So if you aren't conscious of where you're placing your attention and therefore your energy, you are going to continue to create an undesired reality because you're embodying an undesired version of you. And the thing you have to come to realize is no amount of results or material gain in your life is ever going to help you overcome the suffering that you feel within. I could give you 50 mil right now, 100 mil right now. I guarantee you'll feel happy for a bit, like, ooh, money, the car, yacht, whatever it is, right? After all that has died down, it's going to feel normal for you. And then you're going to go back to feeling the same insecurities, the same low confidence. And all of those things are going to be dormant while I've given you the money, right? They're still there. You haven't overcome them. And so detaching from the mind and becoming present is the only true liberation in this life. So in order to create your desired experience of reality without allowing the old frequency to come in and corrupt your creation, you need to build the foundation of presence. Because it is through presence that you can finally begin to rest as your true nature of awareness, rather than identify with and predominantly live through the ego. So once you begin to relax into awareness and rest as that awareness, you detach from the mind. So the solution here is not to control your thoughts or fix your thoughts or change your thoughts, because the study of insanity does not make you sane. It doesn't matter how well you understand how you come up with thoughts and how you conjure these thoughts and why they like this. It doesn't matter, because if you can't detach from them, then you're still going to suffer in them anyway, right? But we don't have to control them in order to stop them from having a negative impact on your state of being, right? Your frequency, state of consciousness, whatever you want to call it. So we want to achieve a certain level of presence and awareness. And when I say awareness, that's because you are not your mind, you are not your body, you are the awareness observing them, right? The awareness right behind your eyes, observing everything. And this awareness is still, it's indestructible, it's undisturbed by anything outside of it, that includes physical reality, and it is infinite in nature because it is your soul that is a fragment of the source consciousness that makes up everything in this universe, right? But once you begin to achieve this level of presence and awareness, what happens is you begin to detach from the mind and you can just observe the thoughts that are coming from it and release identification from it. And once you can release identification from it, then they no longer impact your state of being, your state of consciousness, your frequency, and therefore they can no longer impact your reality. So as you observe and release identification from these thoughts, you begin to neutralize the control or the impact that these unconscious, ego-driven aspects within you have on you, right? Because now that you're resting as awareness and you become present, you're allowing these things to come up, observing them, allowing them to be there without judgment, and then they finally dissolve. They have no impact on who you feel yourself to be. And once you start to do this, you achieve a state of inner stillness and peace without anything in your reality having to change, right? And so this is equivalent to breaking the possession that your old frequency has on you and the paintbrush. And now you have a blank canvas and you have full control over the paintbrush to create exactly or whatever you want. So you stop creating your undesired reality. You stop painting that same reality. And through presence, you get to tap into the endless possibilities of who you could be and what you could create in the present. And you do it all with a childlike creativity. That's something I talk a lot about in my school community. But this childlike creativity is extremely powerful, right? If you remember when you used to create things as a child, you used to start businesses, lemonade stands, you used to make stuff with dirt, right? But to you, they were the coolest creations ever, and every single step of the way, you were fully immersed in it. You were fully present. You weren't worried about, oh, what if my friends see this, and what if it's not good? You're just creating because you enjoy it, right? And whatever you create, it just feels powerful. So imagine if we could adopt this childlike creativity in our business, in our relationships, when we're improving our health, in our job, just in every aspect of life. How effortless would life feel? That is exactly what we want to replicate here, right? Because when we create from this childlike creativity, your creation is not tainted or corrupted by your fears, worries, thoughts, and anxieties. It's the same way you're so willing to do anything and create anything in video games, but you can't do the same in your own life, because you know that in video games, there are no consequences. I'm free to do whatever I want. There are no worries. What do I have to worry about? That is when you create the best creations. And that's exactly what we're trying to replicate. So what you want to do moving forward is you want to catch yourself in your day-to-day. Whenever you start living in the mind and identifying with your thoughts, going unconscious, and when you're mindlessly doing tasks, right, out of fear, worry, lack, and limitation, right? Whether you're working in your business, working at your job, whatever it may be. But when you catch yourself doing these things and going unconscious, what you need to do is simply return to the present and rest as awareness. Now, a couple of quick ways to do this is you can use the breath, you can use conscious breathing, box breathing, or you can just simply watch the rhythm of your breath. The other option is to fully experience the now. Be fully immersed in whatever task you're doing. So if you're creating content for your business, allow the thoughts of worry, of who's going to see this, or is it not going to be good enough? Allow those thoughts to be there, but fully immerse yourself in the task, whether that's you feeling the sensation of the keyboard, feeling the sensation of you writing on a notepad, scripting out a video, whatever it may be. Just feel yourself fully in it. And in both of those things, you want to feel the energy inside your body that is animating it, the awareness that is inhabiting and animating your body. And it feels very powerful. So that's exactly what you want to focus on when it comes to becoming present. And then when you can achieve this state and you become familiar with it, you want to create from this state towards your desired reality. And as I just said before, when you create from that childlike creativity, it is extremely powerful. And when you stack up enough moments where you were fully present in creating towards your desired reality and you created exactly what you wanted to create, you didn't create out of fear, you didn't create from possession of the old frequency, you created exactly what you wanted. You stack up enough of those moments, you will inevitably create and experience your desired reality. If you're interested in more of this stuff, and as I said before, if you want to learn how to create your desired reality, live a purpose-driven life through alignment and not force, you can check out my school community. The link is in the description. I'll see you in the next one.